As WWE prepares for its brand split, the question comes to mind, who will lead the shows as SmackDown and Raw general managers? That's what we're going to discuss in this video. Think about all the options, wonder what would be best for the company, and I'd love to know your feedback in the comment section below after the video. Let me know and interact. As I get into this, I want to let you guys know that your support has been absolutely amazing on these discussion videos, and because of that, the main discussion videos on this channel will be bigger topics. However, I've been so overwhelmed with the comments and the interaction that I will be bringing back my second channel. I have not used my second channel in over 1 year. And the reason is I didn't really know what I wanted to do on there. But if I can keep up this level of engagement and encouragement, we will definitely post more on there. So the link to subscribe is on the screen right now. We're going to be doing topic videos like this, but shorter ones. So you guys can go over there, subscribe, and those videos will start going up this weekend. But let's get into SmackDown General Manager talk, or Raw General Manager talk about who could possibly lead the show. Now, you saw from the thumbnail, there was a lot of interesting candidates that could possibly run this show. You have former general managers such as Vince McMahon, Jonathan Coachman, Shane McMahon, Stephanie McMahon, John Laurinaitis, Daniel Bryan, the interim GM for one night. A lot of interesting things could happen. You have Teddy Long, who I'm a fan of Teddy Long. I actually tweeted Teddy Long, and he's like, you know it. I'm like, we need holla, holla, holla back, player. There's a lot of things WWE could do. Now, I also put Corey Graves in the thumbnail. I would prefer to have Corey Graves and Mauro Ranallo on a commentary table. I think that would be absolutely amazing. But in another topic video we're going to be doing, which if you guys don't know, I made a playlist for King of Talking Style, these videos that I'm doing, which King of Talking Style t-shirt is available on Spreadshirt, by the way, to basically you can just go through in one playlist and watch every single topic video that I discuss. So if you want to do that, you may be able to go right on the side of the video, or there's a description, a link in the description, which I'll be talking more about who I think the commentary team should be and kind of overall encompassing it, because WWE could refresh things, change them, and make them better. But when it comes to the GMs, like I've talked about, there is a lot of rational choices. Now, I know there's some people that have their fan favorites of who they would like, but is that person best for business? Now, based on the shows, you have to keep in mind that one show is 3 hours and one show is 2 hours. Now, right now, I don't think the WWE even knows what they want to do. I think they're going to feel it out this summer and see where things go. Now, an obvious answer right now is Shane and Stephanie are going to split up the shows. One is going to run Raw, one is going to run SmackDown. And here is the reasons why I don't think that's a good idea. Now, the Authority, in a way, really just their whole purpose was to keep the heels going and to oppress all the faces. Now, when those faces overcame, like Daniel Bryan, there was huge pops, and that's what made it all the better. So when Daniel Bryan was keep getting buried after he won the title, and then he lost it right away to Randy Orton, and then eventually had to overcome it and win the title at Mania by beating Triple H and then the Triple Threat, it made the Authority feel bigger because he beat the Authority. But then everybody else is kind of getting crapped on, especially with Stephanie McMahon in charge a lot of the time and Triple H. Now, if you split up the two, you have a face GM on one and a heel GM on the other, I don't think you're necessarily accomplishing your goals. I think a split show between Stephanie and Shane, where they're both kind of tweeners, because like Stephanie said, this is a new era, that the business dealings with Seth Rollins are over. Now, if I'm in the position of finding a general manager for the shows, I'm going to look at somebody that's going to be a fan favorite and somebody that's going to draft these guys that fits the narrative of that show. So if Raw is going to be, because it is 3 hours and they have more time to fill, if Raw is going to be more of the action, the more time to tell stories, and SmackDown a lot more of the high-flying action, maybe the cruiserweights, which we talked about, which if you missed the video talking about the titles, you can check that out in the playlist that I mentioned. Now, if you have one show that features on cruiserweights and high-flying guys, in my mind, it would be logical to create a GM that fits that profile. So if you're going to have one show with a lot of NXT call-ups, especially with, this is the video that I was talking about, the NXT TakeOver The End video, which I'm going to have later today or tomorrow. Moro. I almost said Moro Ronaldo. Basically discussing how if the NXT superstars get called up, maybe a GM that knows the NXT talent very well would work. Maybe you could have Triple H basically about face with the authority and be like, yeah, I run NXT. I was just kidding. Okay? Maybe that doesn't make sense. Calling out somebody like Corey Graves, who has been calling the action down at NXT for quite some time now, would make sense. He would know the product, he'd be able to get him over, but I would still prefer him to hear on the announce team. Somebody like William Regal, the commissioner of NXT coming up, and being able to spotlight the talent may also be great. When you think about it, based on what the WWE is going to do, it fits into the narrative. If you were going to have more of a heel champion, like you have Roman Reigns right now, who isn't a heel, but you have a guy like Seth Rollins that's going after it, and Shane McMahon just hands him a title opportunity, which I understand that he never lost, but it doesn't necessarily fit in, especially with Kevin Owens being a heel and not giving his rematch, which he'll still have down the line. But if you have a GM such as an impartial one like Teddy Long that doesn't have any connection with it, maybe one show is tag team, so you have Teddy Long. I think some people have mentioned that if one show had the tag team titles, what better way than to have Teddy Long be your general manager? Holla, 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 players. This is now the SmackDown tag team. This is now a tag team show, and it's just exclusively tag teams. Now, if they do the thing where... like I was talking about with NXT, if a lot of NXT superstars come out and there are more on one show, which I don't think WWE would necessarily put all the NXT superstars on one show, because then that would, if they call them all up to NXT, from NXT to SmackDown, you're going to have SmackDown loaded with the NXT guys, which a lot of people in the WWE universe, if they like NXT, may be able to watch now. Because the thing is, WWE only has 1.3 million or 1.4, something like that, maybe a little bit more with the free trial subs on the WWE network. So NXT is never getting those huge ratings. Now, for the network, they may get huge ratings, but if you call up or bring up most of NXT and put them on SmackDown, if you are a fan of NXT and you want to watch NXT, those are now going to be getting, based on the ratings that SmackDown already gets, about 2.3 million, a twofold increase over the maximum capabilities of NXT. So having an NXT-based GM may make sense. You may be able to put in a guy like William Regal, like Daniel Bryan. If you're going to have a show full of smaller guys that are, overcoming things, where Daniel Bryan's giving everybody opportunities, that may work to keep him on screen. Now, I don't know if Daniel Bryan would want to be a general manager, but that may work. Also, a fan favorite like Stone Cold may also work. If WWE has one show like Monday Night Raw where Roman Reigns is going to be the champion, why not have a show like SmackDown where you're going to give the people what they want? Because like Vince Russo would say, don't just talk about giving the people what they want or do what they want. Give the people what they want. They're paying money. You give them what they want. Now, what they want may take a while. You don't necessarily just go, okay, we're giving AJ Styles the title because that's what they want, because it doesn't make storyline sense. If Styles keeps coming into the WWE fresh off his first title opportunity, his second title opportunity, doesn't necessarily need to win it, but when he finally does, it's going to mean more. So if you have a general manager that basically gives these opportunities, that gives new superstars a chance to shine, and brings in this quote-unquote new era, it may be beneficial to WWE and the superstars. And when you have Raw and you have what WWE can push, and I bring this up because I think that with the writing teams being separate, and in some of your comments in the last video, somebody said, why don't you give a writer, specific writers, the ability to write for specific titles? Now, I don't think that would be a horrible idea. If you have Ryan Ward and Ed Karski, who are the main writers for Raw and SmackDown, and you have like two writers on a team that are dedicated to only writing out the Intercontinental Championship for one show, or the U.S. title, and you don't have to worry about a team of 20 writers trying to intermingle their storylines, it may work. Some of the best television was when Vince Russo wrote it by himself. So, the limited writing or focusing on where the writing could go would be very beneficial to the WWE. Now, when it comes to Raw, I think a Stephanie or Shane GM-ship would work. Now, there would be a way for Shane McMahon to go away if they bring in somebody more popular. Somebody like a Stone Cold Steve Austin that realizes, who's been very vocal about the company. He can come in during the draft and be like, listen, you something about I'm going to turn that boot. I almost dropped the Rock line. What a crazy thing it would be if The Rock was the general manager. But to be able to come in and open up a can of whoop ass and realize like the corporate mantra, right? Like if we are constantly complaining that WWE isn't listening, and you have a guy like Stone Cold who's visibly said that on his podcast that has been critical of the WWE, even though he has a working relationship and he still works with the WWE, it could be beneficial. Just like Shane McMahon comes out and says, you're not giving the fans what they want. You're trying to push your own agenda. That gets the fans that are, more happy and more invested a reason to buy. Because, yes, you should give the fans what they want. The problem is people having the patience for it to play out. You have to have that patience, whoever the general manager is, to make it become something. Now, if I had to personally pick, if I'm looking at all these general managers, Mike Adamle is an option, right? Mick Foley. Mick Foley's got Holy Foley. What a inner twist it would be after season 1 of Holy Foley to now he's the general manager and it takes you backstage being the GM. So because of his show, I don't know if Mick Foley would be a good choice for a GM. But one of the shows should get a fan favorite GM that's going to put over the people that the fans want, that at least gives them an opportunity. If we love Dolph Ziggler, and, Triple H and Stephanie were constantly burying Dolph Ziggler, like, all right, you want a chance? Here's a 3-on-1 match or something like that. If Dolph is going to lose those matches, at least have a GM acknowledge. The fans love you, Dolph. Go out there and prove it. You know what I mean? So based on everything that I've thought about, I would put Daniel Bryan in control of SmackDown. Daniel Bryan has said in the past, give me the keys to SmackDown as champion or, to bring up the ratings. I would honestly give Daniel Bryan the keys to SmackDown as general manager for right now, and I would keep Stephanie and Shane to see where the tension goes on Monday Night Raw. That's just my personal opinion. Like I said, there's a lot of great choices. I would love Stone Cold. I would love Mick Foley. But those are just my thoughts. Let me know in the comment section below who you guys would go with, and let me know about any future topics you would like me to discuss. Until next time, it's your boy Tubby Emu.